Hello Motorrad World fans and welcome to Paddock Talk from Mugello on Saturday, a really busy day, a weird day in many ways with the weather going up and down, left and right and doing all kinds of things. Great atmosphere, although nothing compared to years gone by, or so I was told. Took a walk around the track with SA rider Bjorn Esmond, who's here for the weekend as well. He races in British Superbikes, and we took a walk around, and he had been to Mugello 10 years ago or something, experienced the full-blown Mugello, 120,000 fans, the yellow flares, the packed embankments, the motorhomes, the tents and everything. And we went for a walk around the campsite and the hills, and just wanted to go experience it all, and very, very, very quiet, very quiet. So last year apparently there was 120,000 spectators. For Sunday race day they're expecting 20,000. Today, if there were 10,000, it was a lot. So what is this down to? And this was a big question. What's going on here? Is it because Rossi's not racing? Many people seem to think that could be a percentage of why. Rossi is not racing anymore. Why come out and support? The big thing is, the big talking point is the price. It's apparently €250 for a Saturday and a Sunday, just an entry ticket. Now, €250 to the average person with an average salary here in Italy is a lot of money, especially if you come with your wife, your kid. You're looking at €750. That's excluding your food and your cool drinks. So, yeah, I think a lot of spectators almost boycotting in a way. And it was sad to see, because you've got all these food trucks, merch stores and everything that have now, spent a lot of money to get a stand there and are accommodating for 120,000 people to rock up this weekend, and it's just nowhere near that. I saw a couple of food trucks and that packing up today. The merch stands were absolutely dead and empty. So while it's Mugello, and you got to see MotoGP bikes doing 350 k's an hour over that hill and cutting over the hill, and it's Mugello, so it was spectacular, but the vibe wasn't there. Jerez had this vibe when I was there, and this Mugello vibe that I've been told about is just not there, sadly. So a little bit of a sad state of affair to see that Mugello was kind of in that state when it came to spectators. Dorna are going this whole route of trying to make the paddock more exclusive, charging a lot more money, kind of F1, rich and famous get to experience it. And in that sense, they kind of got it right, because the paddock was full. So, yeah, there's a lot of money being spent in the paddock, but I think, what about the true fans, those ones on the embankment, the ones that are buying the merch from the merch stands, and the ones that are supporting those food trucks? Where's that whole circle of life in a way? And it's been killed a bit, which is a little bit disappointing, to be honest, to see that. So I think, Dorna need to look at that and rethink it, because it's not fair. It's not fair to the diehard fan. It really is not fair. So, yeah, that was my first little take of today. That was a little bit disappointing. As for in the actual paddock with Darryn, again, just made great improvements. Best qualifying of the year in 20th. Darryn has been looking good the whole weekend. Had a little bit of an incident in FP3, which has resulted in a long lap penalty on Sunday race day. Now, this is a huge topic of discussion, one that I am still very heated about. So Darryn Bastianini crashes in the final corner. Yellow flag comes out. Marshals, Bastianini and his bike get moved. All is well, all is safe. A minute, 2 minutes, or 2.5 minutes later, Darryn Binder comes around and crashes. And we didn't see what happened with Darryn, but we saw Darryn in the gravel. No, the marshals there, a safe situation, pick the bike up. Bastianini's bike's long gone, no marshals in the, a normal crash situation. Straight away under investigation. So myself and Zan, Darren's girlfriend, are thinking, well, I saw it by myself, and then when I saw Zan afterwards, we're like, why did it say that? I said, well, he's crashed under a yellow. If he was pushing, if he was going for a fast lap and he crashed under a yellow, he's in big trouble. But what I could see from the timing, he had slowed down a lot. So anyway, let's find out. So Darryn comes in, tells us what happened. He's going around very slowly because he saw the yellow flag, so knew the lap was over. Cruising in, was going to come into pits anyway. Goes around the corner, next minute, front end hits something. Darryn was looking at the marshals and that to see what was happening, so not really looking at the road. Next minute, hits something down he goes, crashes. And we all saw, like again, nothing serious. Picks him up goes. Anyway, we get into pits and Dorna come in and hand a letter to Wilco and the team saying, long lap penalty for your team. Wilco and them say, well, we've got data on that to prove. And they said, well, bring it up to the investigation. Bring it up. Here's all the data, shows that Darryn was almost 6 seconds slower. His lean angle was a lot less. His speed was a lot less. His throttle position was a lot less. It shows that the suspension has hit something and reacted to something. So he's hit something on the tar and he's crashed. So investigate the tar or something on the tar. Did the marshals not see that something had, not maybe necessarily from the Bastianini crash, but from something that Darryn's hit? Cool, we'll take it into consideration. Call Wilco back in a couple of minutes and say, listen, not happy with his lean angle. He's got his long lap penalty. Wilco says, oh, but his lean angle is the same as the next couple of riders that came behind him, if not less. So, anyway, so Dorna don't want to, or race direction, don't want to hear any of it, and Darryn's got a long lap penalty. So that kind of put a little bit of a dent in your sail. I could see you got a little bit deflated when you heard that news, but yeah, just, Darryn, just turn it into a positive. You got your long lap penalty. Now, how long lap works is, because we were saying, try and do it early. Do it as you set off, try and do it. And he says, no, Dorna, or race direction, I keep saying Dorna, race direction, instruct you when you are allowed to take your long lap. So all of a sudden, on lap 5, they might say, right, you are now allowed to go in long lap, or lap 10, or lap 15. So yeah, he really has to now start the race and in the back of his mind, keep a lookout for when this long lap's going to happen. They bring it up on your dash, they show it on the board, so, he will get it. But it's just such a pity because like Wilco said, okay, well, give us a penalty, but let him start at the back of the grid. No, it's a long lap penalty. So yeah, it's Darryn's been dealt this harsh card for a long time in his MotoGP paddock life in Moto3 and everything. And I think, again, we've spoken about this so many times, the human factor needs to come in. Was it a dangerous situation? No. Yes, the yellow flags were still out 2 minutes after Bastianini crashed. Why were the yellow flags still out that long? The incident had been cleared, everything was fine, there was no harm caused, no foul. Darryn had slowed down, we've got proof that he had slowed down, that he wasn't on a hot lap, yet this still. So it's pathetic is the word that comes to mind when I think about that. But anyway, Darryn is looking good, feeling good, qualified ahead of Dovi, 20th place, looking good, not far off a good result. I'm hoping the long lap, it's going to hurt him. The problem with modern day MotoGP, it's the best riders in the world. It's not like the old days where you could take a long lap or start from pit lane and come scything through the field because the depth of the field wasn't that great. It's going to be hard to do it now. So Darryn's going to be hampered by it, but I think a guy like Darryn feeds on that, and I think we're going to see this hardcore Darryn come out, and I'm hoping for a really good race because he deserves it. His work ethic this weekend, as with every weekend, but he's had the perfect work ethic, and his mentality's been good, and his work rate's been good. He's done everything right, so Darryn deserves it. So let's see what happened there. Brad, another tough day in the office for Brad. Wasn't able to improve in FP3. In fact, went slower. Oliveira went 0.8 faster. Brad just some setup issues with the wrong setup for the wrong tire, and just a couple of bad luck things again. Things that need to change. I think, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak too internally, but I just think there's one or two miscommunications and that happened. But anyway, so Brad suffered FP3. Qualifying, we all saw what happened there. He was one of the first to go out on slicks and looked like he was going to make it through, but everyone was just able to go faster. Brad just said he wasn't able to go faster. It looked like it was raining more, and he just didn't feel comfortable. Still suffering with a little bit of an injury in his right hand from his crash at Jerez. So he says that's hampering him a little bit, but we know Brad is a Sunday man. He's going to give it his all, starting from 16th on the grid. Let's see if he can pull it through. But he does say it's going to be very hard work. It's a very physical track. Both Brad and Darryn say it's very physical, not in the sense of using your strength, but just heart rate wise. It's like a proper cardio workout. So even Darryn this morning said, I feel fine, muscles and that feel fine, but just feel a bit tired because it's an exhausting track. Your heart rate's always going. But it's exciting nevertheless. So let's see what happens. I mean, if you look at how the weekend played out, DJ Antonio on the Ducati, he was behind Darryn on Friday, and here he is on pole position. Hats off DJ Antonio, pole position. People say, but how, why? DJ Antonio, Bezzecca, Marini, those guys at the front have nothing to lose. So in those tricky conditions, the lap time was a 46.9. Darryn did a 46.7 or something. Bagnaia did 45.3 in the practice session. So it wasn't a pole position from outright lap record lap time. It was a pole position because he was brave enough and happy enough to risk the most in those conditions, whereas the Fabios, the Bastianinis, the Aleix Espargaros in for the championship are going, well, we've got to just qualify as best as we can, because if we throw it in the weeds here and potentially damage our Sunday race, it's not going to help us. So I could see that, when I saw Bezzecchi, Marini and Di Giannantonio, it's very much a case of they've got nothing to lose and they made the best out of the tricky situations where the championship guys were like, let's not risk too much here, Sunday's the race. And the weather did change so much today. It was boiling hot, then it got a bit cloudy, then the thunder came, then it rained slightly, then it stopped, then it poured with rain, then it stopped. And so very on-offish weather, and we're expecting more of that tomorrow as well. So going to be a very tricky day tomorrow to see what's going to happen with the weather. The rain might play into Darryn and Brad's hands, slow the pace down a bit for Darryn, certainly with a long lap penalty. So I think it's going to be an exciting day in Mugello, that's for sure. It was an exciting day today. The atmosphere, like I said, within the paddock and the teams, all that's good. But yeah, that Mugello vibe that I'd been told about just wasn't there, with those packed embankments and the yellow smoke going off and the air horns and the lawnmowers with no exhaust pipe or what, all that kind of thing just wasn't there, which was a bit sad. But let's see how Sunday goes. That is the major talk in the paddock from Saturday, especially with regards to Brad and Darryn. Marc Marquez, big news coming from Marc Marquez. News that I was expecting kind of after that crash. Marquez, I've said it a couple of times, Marquez just doesn't look like a happy man. I think with everything that's gone on, I personally think maybe a little bit of depression there. He just looks like a defeated man. He just looks, even when he's signing autographs and that before, he's not the same bubbly character. In the pits when the TV's on him, it's not this way, but it's this deflated man. And if I think of his crashes like the high side today, with the right arm, has he lost, with ligament damage and that, has he lost a bit of control and feel? And his hand, he has no control, and all of a sudden the hand grips a handful of throttle and throws himself off. And so I think it's the right decision. I think ultimately Puig and Honda have handled the whole situation wrong since his return. I think, there's been a lot of pressure. I know he's won some races on his comeback and stuff, but I think in terms of prolonging his career, it hasn't been the right decision. And I think they've sat down now and gone, listen, we've got to give this a try. You've got to give yourself a rest and chance to recover, another operation. Because if we don't go this route, your career will end next year. If we go this route, you might get a couple more years. But I do think his career has been shortened. There's no two ways about it. A lot of people talk in the paddock about we won't see Marc Marquez winning another championship. We won't even see Marc Marquez back. This could be a defining moment, and we could see Marquez retiring, which to me would be devastating. So it was great to see the likes of Fabio coming out in support, saying, wish him the best, and a lot of other riders. But it's big news. Marc Marquez just, like I said, I think it's a little bit more than just the injury. I don't think he's sleeping at night. I think he could possibly be on medication because he's not sleeping, which leads to depression. I think there's a lot more to the Marquez saga than just the arm and the vision. I think it's hard to go from a guy that was just unbeatable, unstoppable to this vulnerable character. Watching Marc Marquez ride around looking for tags, I've spoken about this a couple of times, looking for toes in qualifying sessions is not Marc Marquez to me. It's just not Marc Marquez. Speaking about that, Marc Marquez and them slowing down for looking for a tag and a toe and a lay, Paul Espargaro and all these guys getting in the way that get no penalties, and then Darryn Binder crashes safely and not his fault, and he gets a long lap penalty. Don't know how that works. Would love proper justification on that, but that's is what it is. So that is Paddock Talk from Saturday at Mugello. Hopefully I'll have some brilliant news with regards to this team and Darryn Binder and Brad Binder for Sunday, but I'm looking forward to my first ever Mugello MotoGP Sunday experience, and I will bring you all the information tomorrow night, and then remember, live Monday night from 8 p.m. South African time, we go live on our YouTube channel with Talking MotoGP from Mugello.